Hi, I'm Nikki from Little Ones, and today I'm going to answer the question, why won't my baby nap at all? So napping is really important for babies and toddlers, and age dependent. There are a whole bunch of reasons why your baby isn't napping. So for babies between the ages of sort of 0 to 3 months, they really should be having quite a lot of nap hours during the day. And by the end of that stage, that might be consolidated into 3 fairly consistent naps. Around 6 months old, babies start to drop down to just 2 naps a day. Then somewhere between 12 to 15 months, they drop the second nap and are left with just 1 nap a day. And we would really expect to see toddlers keep that consistent nap until they're about 2.5 to 3 years old at least. So napping is really important. It's important because it reduces cortisol levels in your baby or toddler, which means they're not getting overtired, because overtiredness is a really key reason that your baby won't nap. If they're overtired, they've got cortisol, which is like adrenaline, coursing through their body. It makes them feel more alert, but they'll be agitated. It's like having a shot of coffee, so they're really wired. And they're going to find it quite hard to unwind and switch off and fall asleep. So overtiredness is could be a reason that your baby isn't napping. Equally, undertiredness could be a reason that your baby isn't napping. And this would be if their awake windows were too short for their age. So if you were trying to put your 3-month-old baby down for a nap 45 minutes to an hour after they last woke up from their nap, they're just not tired enough to settle to sleep because they haven't been awake for long enough. So that could be a reason that your baby's not napping either, is because their awake windows aren't right for their age. And that will cause undertiredness, but it can also cause overtiredness. So making sure their awake windows are really age appropriate is the first crucial step to getting good naps happening. The other reason your baby might not be napping that well is that their sleep environment, or the environment in which you're putting them down for a nap, isn't sleep inducing. So it's not conducive to sleep. And certainly this becomes more of an issue once your baby's over about 8 weeks old, because they're a lot more aware, they're starting to become more alert and notice the world around them. So if you're still trying to put your baby down in their bassinet in the lounge or in a bright, stimulating room, suddenly it's not working anymore like it did when they were 2 weeks old, because they can see, they're not getting influenced by melatonin, which is caused by the dark. So the light is stimulating them and telling them to stay awake. So we would recommend sleeping your baby for their naps in a nice dark room, using white noise, which will help soothe them and also help block out any environmental sounds that might stimulate or wake your baby. And then of course using age appropriate, using a swaddle for your baby as well, because while they still have the Moro reflex and very wild, uncontrolled limbs, they can resist going to sleep because their arms are flapping around all over the place. So under 4 or 5 months, we would definitely recommend swaddling your baby for naps as well as for nighttime sleep. So the sleep environment plays a big part in whether your baby is napping or not, and for how long they're napping, the quality of their naps. Another factor in their napping, especially for younger babies, and I'm talking about going to sleep in the first place, is hunger. Certainly babies that haven't started solids can definitely resist going to sleep if they're still genuinely hungry. So if you can sort of rule out everything else and your baby is still not settling to sleep, then try and feed them again, give them a top-up feed, because it might just be that they are hungry. which leads me to my next point about why babies don't nap. And I think there's a bit of what's happened these days is we're very used to being told it's normal when we're encountering issues or sleep issues with our babies. So, you know, you say to someone, oh, my baby's not napping, and they go, oh, that's normal, that's, you know, some babies nap, some babies don't, all babies are different. But actually, like I said, babies need naps, and we're so used to hearing it's normal that we stop thinking maybe this isn't normal, and we stop listening to our instincts a bit, and we stop looking at other reasons for a baby being really unsettled or not napping. And you know, not always, but sometimes some of those reasons are things like they have a tongue tie or a cheek or a lip tie, and they are actually not feeding effectively, so they are hungry. Tongue ties can cause babies to take in a lot more wind when they're feeding, so even if they are feeding or seem to be feeding okay, you know, maybe they have a whole lot of trapped wind and it's making them really uncomfortable, and they're not napping because they're uncomfortable. Or maybe a baby has reflux and they aren't going to sleep for their naps because they're in pain from the acid coming up their windpipe. So these are other, obviously less common, but also other reasons that a baby won't nap or won't fall asleep for a nap in the first place. And like I said, I think we're so used to being told that it's normal that babies don't nap, that we don't think about these as options. And certainly those would be the last things you'd look at once you'd ruled out all the other stuff I've mentioned. If your baby is perhaps napping all right in, say, the earlier part of the day, and they're not napping at all in the later part of the day, especially if they're around 6 to 8 months, then it could be that they actually need to drop that late afternoon nap, and that they've already actually had too much sleep that day, and they're genuinely just not needing that last nap, and so they're resisting that nap as a result. And that is common during that nap transition from 3 naps down to 2, and it can also happen to your toddler when they're transitioning from 2 naps down to 1. So those are the main reasons that your baby isn't napping at all. And the first place that we can start help you work out what's going on for your little one is through our sleep programs, which give you the perfect awake times for your baby's age and the ideal nap structure to be aiming for. So we can then, from there, rule out those factors and help you troubleshoot what else might be going on. I hope that's helped those of you who are having trouble with getting your baby to nap. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more baby sleep videos.